For more on the Brexit chaos, we can bring in Sophie Loussouarn, lecturer at the University of Picardie and British politics expert. Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you very much for joining us on the program today. Now, Theresa May offered herself up for ritual sacrifice if her deal passed. That didn't work. What are her options now?
Well, I would say there are two solutions. Either we have a no-deal Brexit on the 12th of April, if there is no solution found, and this would be a disaster for the British economy and for the EU. We have to bear in mind that the EU is the first trading partner of the UK. The second solution would be a long-term extension, which would require to organise European elections, because of course it would be an extension beyond the 22nd of May, and then there would be European elections taking place on the 23rd of May, and longer negotiations. So maybe there are general elections in the offing, maybe a second referendum, maybe a customs union, maybe a single market. There's so many different solutions, and this is chaotic because, you know, it is uncertain times and nobody really knows where we're heading for.
Indeed. We planning the questions with you, planning what to say tonight, it was very difficult because we don't know what is going to happen. But speaking of things we do know that's going to happen is the EU has called for this emergency summit on the 10th of April. Could possibly the EU give her more concessions in the hopes of getting this deal passed? Because as you said, nobody wants to see the UK leave without a deal in hand because it's going to be catastrophic to the EU's economy as well.
Yes. Well, you know, the EU has said that they'd given the UK all they could. They're not going to change on the backstop. I think maybe, you know, Britain needs to reconsider the deal because Plan A is dead now. You know, the Prime Minister's deal is dead.
She can't tweak it any further.
No. So something new has to come out quickly. Maybe it's time to organise a second referendum.
But we did see
it was rejected.
Yeah, but we have the images of pro-Brexit supporters who took to the streets of London today. Hundreds of thousands of people.
I know. And what about the million people?
Yeah, but they're going to be last Saturday, indeed. But I'm saying they're going to feel alienated because a referendum happened in 2016. Yes. It passed.
Well, they want the result to be delivered. I know, but there is the country has never been so divided, you know. And in many ways, the problem is that Brexit has divided Britain, whereas Brexit has united the 27 countries of the European Union. And this has weakened the United Kingdom on the world stage. And Britain was expecting to negotiate trade deals with so many countries after it left the European Union. But first things first, it has to leave the European Union in an orderly way.
Indeed.
And to find a good trade agreement with the European Union, which is the first trading partner of the United Kingdom.
Now, Parliament is set to hold another day of indicative votes on Monday. What is the point when just a couple of days ago, 8 motions could not reach a majority? I mean, what are they? Is it a problem that Parliament has too much control in this process?
Well, you know, I think Parliament has taken back control, and there is a conflict between representative democracy and popular democracy embodied by the referendum.
It seems that some of the members of Parliament were not really taking the constituencies in mind, but just politicking. People like Boris Johnson, who rejected the deal, today voted in favour of the deal because he was gunning for the top job.
Of course, yes, but also because he didn't want to lose Brexit. Many hard Brexiteers have voted for the Prime Minister's deal, not because they agree with the Prime Minister's deal, but because they want to have Brexit.
I'm going to talk about one of the various options because I have here that potentially a general election could be in the offing. What happens then?
Well, it all depends. You know, I don't know whether the Labour Party will win the general election. If Jeremy Corbyn becomes Prime Minister, will he revoke Article 50 of the Lisbon Treaty? You know, this could happen. He has said that he would revoke Article 50. He has also said that he would organise a second referendum. But what he wants, first and foremost, is a new general election because he is hoping that he can become the next prime minister. They're all aiming for the top job.
I think it's a very self-serving indeed. We'll see what happens.
and it's all in party interest. Theresa May has tried to keep the Conservative Party together.
How long can she last?
She is very determined, very strong, very opinionated.
She's the strongest, toughest woman on earth, clearly.
Yes, and she is Prime Minister at the toughest time in British politics.
Because people want that job once she delivers on Brexit.
Well, of course, but she is having, the difficult time and putting an end to 46 years of common history is always difficult.
We'll see what happens. Sophie Loussouarn, thank you very much for joining us on the
program.
program.
Well, thank you. It's a pleasure.